Nobody in that dusty saloon realized they were sitting next to the deadliest gunman in the West. A weathered stranger sat quietly, sipping cheap whiskey, enduring the mockery around him without a word. His silence was sharp, like steel, cold, patient. The Black Ace Saloon was filled with loud laughter and thick cigar smoke. It was 1884, and the town of Copper Ridge was ruled by one man, Victor Kane, the ruthless leader of the Wolf Kane's gang. He controlled every corner of the town, every business and every drop of whiskey that was poured. Where Caney walked, fear followed. But tonight, something was different. Sitting at the corner table was a man who didn't belong. Nathaniel Cross, 68 years old, silver hair shining like moonlight, his skin weathered by decades of harsh sun. His hands were steady despite his age. No one knew what an old man like him wanted in a place like this. Victor Caney sized him up, his face full of disdain. An old fool, he thought. A relic. He slowly approached the man, his gunman laughing, already expecting what was to come. Caney grabbed the stranger's bottle and poured whiskey over his head. "Welcome to hell, Grandpa," Caney sneered. "I run this town." Nathaniel didn't flinch. He only stared at his empty glass, as if the insult had never occurred. The silence in the room grew thick, the air heavy. There was something off about this man, an unsettling calm, like a storm waiting for the right moment to break. One of Caney's gunmen whispered, "Boss, that old man's got a strange look in his eyes." Caney pushed the table, causing the glass to shatter. Still, Nathaniel remained unmoved, simply raising his gaze for a brief moment. His stare was cold, intense, completely out of place in a place like this. Before you find out how a 68-year-old man became the nightmare of 25 gunmen, take a moment to hit that like button. Subscribe, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, I'd love to know. Hold tight, because Nathaniel Cross is about to unleash more than just vengeance in Copper Ridge. This is a death sentence written in gunpowder and blood. Stay with me, partners, because the streets are about to turn red, and the legend of the silent rider will come alive. Copper Ridge was a town long forgotten by God and fondly remembered by the devil. 3 dusty streets, a bank, a church with no preacher, and a saloon that never closed. The law had passed through years ago, but never stayed. It was outlaw territory, and Victor Kane was its king. 2 years ago, Caney and his gang burned down the sheriff's office and hanged the mayor from the telegraph pole. Since then, no one dared challenge them. They collected illegal taxes, stole cattle, violated women. The town breathed nothing but fear. Nathaniel Cross arrived every Tuesday by stagecoach. No luggage, no visible weapons, just an old saddlebag and a worn hat. He paid for a room at Widow Harrison's boarding house with tarnished silver coins. He didn't speak to anyone, ask questions, he simply watched. Curious, the widow once asked where he was from. Nathaniel answered in a gravelly voice, "From a place that doesn't exist anymore." That first night, Nathaniel ate alone in the saloon, whiskey in one hand, jerky in the other. The men shouted, played poker, smashed bottles. One brute, Razor Jim, noticed the old man. "Look here, boys. Fresh meat," he slurred. "Old-timers don't last long here, Grandpa. You came to die." Nathaniel chewed slowly, his eyes steady. "I came to settle accounts." Razor Jim laughed. "Settle what? Old debts? Paid in blood?" For a heartbeat, silence fell. Razor Jim frowned, confused, before spitting in Nathaniel's plate. He returned to his table, his laughter echoing. The old man wiped the spit with his sleeve, finished his meal, paid, and walked out. Before crossing the door, he paused and looked back at the gunman's table. His gaze lingered on each face, memorizing them. Outside, beneath the dim glow of oil lamps, the cold wind swept through the street. The wooden doors creaked. Shadows stretched across the dust. Somewhere in the past, the name Nathaniel Cross was whispered in fear. Terrible. A name everyone would soon remember, What deadly secret did this old man carry? Keep watching. Inside Widow Harrison's boarding house, the smell of soap and old timber filled the air. Nathaniel climbed the stairs slowly, each step a reminder of a lifetime of discipline. His room was simple: a bed, a chair, and a window overlooking Main Street. He sat on the bed and pulled from his saddlebag the only thing of value he carried, a yellowed photograph. In it, a young lawman with a badge stood next to a beautiful woman holding a boy of about 10. Nathaniel traced the woman's face with his finger. His eyes moistened, but no tears came. He hadn't cried in decades. The last time was in 1871, when he found his home burned and his wife and son buried beneath the ashes. The culprits were a gang of railroad enforcers who cleared land by any means necessary. Nathaniel spent 3 years tracking them, finding them one by one. None died quickly, and when the last man stopped screaming, Nathaniel disappeared. He became a legend, the silent rider, the gunslinger who never missed, who killed without mercy. For decades he lived in the mountains, trying to forget the taste of vengeance, until 4 weeks ago, when a dying traveler stumbled to his cabin, begging for water. Before dying, the traveler spoke of Copper Ridge, of Caney and his gang, and mentioned a name that froze Nathaniel's blood: Marcus Sutton. The one man who had escaped his vengeance 16 years ago, the one who had ordered his home burned while they slept. And now Marcus Sutton was Victor Kane's right-hand man. Nathaniel removed his boots, lay down fully dressed, and stared at the photograph. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from muscle memory. His fingers remembered the weight of a revolver, the exact pressure needed to pull the trigger, the smell of oil. Outside, the sounds of the saloon continued, unaware that the silent rider had awakened. Copper Ridge had just signed its death warrant. The storm was coming.